And this is a competitive game of area control and engine building as players are building different buildings to generate resources on the islands they control, which they can then use to build new ships and gain new crew and upgrades that they'll be able to use to try and gain the most victory points at the end of 8 rounds. The players aren't just up against each other this game because there's also going to be a bunch of monsters showing up on the board each and every round, and it'll always be the player with the first player token that gets to decide what those monsters do. But this is a game that plays over a series of rounds, and every single round you're going to be drawing an event card which can have some positive or negative effects to all the players or change the landscape of the game a little bit. But each of these event cards will also either spawn a new monster out onto the board or to trigger the Kraken to attack. After that, each player is going to be taking turns exploring the ocean tiles, gaining resources or gaining new upgrades, fighting ancient monsters to gain victory points, resources, or special items, with the type of island that they discovered dictating the type of opportunities that it will present. The players can build or upgrade buildings on any of the unclaimed islands, and this is going to allow for an amount of resource or victory point generation, which you'll then be able to use to unlock new upgrades or defend against enemies. Players can also use those resources to construct new ships, which can have some different stats and strengths, but they can also have a different amount of crew that they're able to carry. And this all comes in handy because you'll be able to use those ships to attack the different monsters that appear out on the board, or even attack other opponents. But after all the players have performed their actions, we're going to be moving into the end of round phase where players are going to be gathering resources from any of their islands that have resource generation, and then the player with the first player marker is going to be able to move any of the monsters however they like, and then they're going to be passing that first player marker to the following player. The monsters might attack players within range, or they might block production on islands that they are adjacent to. But the game continues like this over a series of rounds until the end of 8 rounds, and then the player with the most victory points at that point wins the game, and if you want to check it out, I will have it linked in the description below.